What's up, guys? Welcome to the Sports 2.0 show. I am your host, Tanner Kern. I'm joined by Vincent Graziano and Mitch Martin. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Hey, it's a great week in baseball. I know we were talking before the show. The weekend slate's not awesome by any means, but free agency, the deadline's coming up. We got some pretty exciting news around the league. Got a couple big series this weekend, Yankees, Red Sox. Now, Mitch, I was a little disappointed. I'm not disappointed. I was disappointed for you. I am a Red Sox fan, so I was happy we got the win. But going into that game last night with Robbie Ray on the bump versus Garrett Richards, I was a little scared. The Red Sox showed up. Now, what was your thoughts going through? What was going through your head during that game?
Yeah, just to start off, I appreciate your condolences. I mean, it definitely hurt. But yeah, and I thought for sure with Robbie Ray on the mound, Garrett Richards, he's historically bad against a lot of the middle of the Blue Jays lineup. I thought we had that one in the bag, but that just goes to show you what can happen in any given game, I guess. And that also kind of gives me like a little precursor. Like, I don't know if this Blue Jays team has it this year, unfortunately. I don't know. I'm losing doubt.
Now, I was listening to Starting Nine, the Barstool Red Sox podcast earlier today, and Jared Carrabis said he went on Toronto radio, and like they're really down on the Blue Jays right now. Like they still got the best run differential in the American League, I believe. So. Yeah,
I think it's just because we were expecting bigger things. I mean, we went out and got George Springer in the offseason. Unfortunately, Kirby Yates got injured, but I don't know. I just think we're expecting a playoff team here, and that's not what we're getting so far.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Vincent, you are a Yankees/Marlins fan. I'm gonna go with the Yankees because at least they're in a little better shape than the Marlins. What are your thoughts on this weekend series? You think the Yankees can take 3 of 4 or sweep the Red Sox at Fenway Park?
I think this is a huge series for the Yankees. I mean, they're hot. They've won 9 of their last 12, I believe. They're playing in one of the best divisions in baseball, in my opinion. I mean, there's 4 teams in there that could potentially make the playoffs. So, I mean, this is a big series. The Yankees have not done well against the Red Sox at all this year, so I'd like to see them take at least 3 this weekend.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. I mean, the Red Sox have been hot lately on offense, so it's going to be tough, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you know, like last week when we went to Yankee Stadium, it's like they're throwing baseballs at Alex Verdugo in the outfield. Like that environment is not conducive to winning baseball games. That you got to come to Fenway at night. Now, Mitch, you saw the Red Sox play on TV this week against the Blue Jays. You think the Yankees can take 3 or 4 from them?
See, I don't think so. My whole thing with the Red Sox is that although like there are some starting pitching matchups that are interesting in this, like Montgomery Hawk, I think that is a Red Sox win. And then you got Cole Rodriguez. I could see them taking game 2, but then Evaldi and Talion. Like I just think the Boston pitching outmatches the Yankees pitching. And then hitting wise, I mean, you're looking at a Boston team that's like top 10 in every offensive category. So I don't think they have what it takes to hang with the Red Sox just yet.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if Cole can't win, if they can't win with Cole on the mound, they're going to be in trouble this weekend for sure. All right, guys. So make sure you subscribe to the Sports 2.0 network. We just reached 750 subscribers. So that's awesome stuff. Thank you for all the support there. And also, if you're in Michigan right now, your team is the best in baseball, by the way. The Detroit Tigers are undefeated. They won this today, so they're still undefeated since the All-Star break. Go over to PointsBet Sportsbook. Use promo code NUPMT, KNUPMT. All the information is in the link. The information is in the description below. You're going to get a $300 deposit match and an entry into the Miller Lite and Detroit Tigers VIP Summer Sweepstakes. So that's good stuff. We're going to start with Yerman Mercedes tonight. So he retired and returned over the course of 24 hours. I was writing an article for Baseball Spotlight. So I'm not really going to put my 2 cents into this till the end because I'm very fired up right now. I'm writing an article for Baseball Spotlight. It's done. I'm about to click the publish button. And then I see Yerman Mercedes posted another thing on Instagram saying he's back. But realistically, he never left. So, Vincent, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts on Yerman Mercedes, the most immature player in baseball now, retiring and coming back in less than 24 hours?
I mean, we were talking before about this. I completely agree with you. It's an immature move. I mean, a lot of guys get sent down, and he responded poorly to it. I think he's got to take his medicine, work hard at the AA or AAA level, wherever they sent him, and work his way back up. I mean, this is a postseason team that he could help out come the postseason. I mean, he started out the year hot, and now he's struggling. So there obviously is a reason for him being sent down. It was kind of a Conor McGregor move to retire and unretire, but I mean, it was quick and short-lived. So I think, like you said, it was pretty immature.
Yeah, but like at least with Connor, like in the UFC, like Connor did something. Like Connor, won titles. I mean, you remember Mercedes was the American League Player of the Week once, like, and I love the dude. I mean, honestly, like the Erminator, like I hated how La Russa didn't support him when he hit that 3-0 home run against the Minnesota Twins, but it is what it is. I don't like this move at all. Now, Mitch, what's your thoughts?
I honestly think it was immature, but I think you gotta give like a young guy like that like some time to grow. Like I totally understand that like he should be behind his team, he should be trying to make the push to the majors, but you got a kid that hasn't really had much major league experience, so that could be pretty demoralizing for him to be sent down. But I read this quote that he put on his Instagram, and he said his dream is to become an established major leaguer, and he owes it to his family and the White Sox organization to continue. And I mean, that seems like pretty heartfelt to me. It seems like he wants to make a push, and it's not even like he's been having like a bad outing in AAA. I mean, he has a slash line of 309, 377, and 655 with 4 homers. Like it's all like he's struggling down there. So that's why I just found it really surprising that he would post something like that and then the next day come back and say, "I want back in," kind of thing,
Yeah. Now, when I saw his slash line in the minors, it's funny you bring that up. I was like this dude. Okay, so if you're a 309 hitter in the minors, we saw what he can do in the majors. He's going to hit 300 in the big leagues as a catcher, which is very rare. Probably going to be more of a DH kind of guy. But like, I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned that he pulled this. Like, he's going to be back up in the show in the playoffs, and he's going to start with the big league roster next year. There's no doubt about it. Now, I got a question for you, Mitch. Tony La Russa said last night after they played, he's like, I'm going to reach out to him and maybe I can, talk to him. Do you think the Tony La Russa phone call got Yerman Mercedes back on track, or was this always in Mercedes' mind?
Yeah, see, I was actually going to mention that because I seen that too. Yeah, apparently La Russa and him have had a close relationship, which is kind of jarring to me considering that he was on Yerman Mercedes behind when he basically committed the baseball rule that you're not supposed to hit a 3-0 pitch from a positional player. But I mean, it looks like that might have made the difference, the whole La Russa call, which is surprising. But yeah, like where it stands right now, maybe La Russa brought him back in and said, "Hey, buddy, like we believe in you. We want you to be a part of this team moving forward."
Yeah. See, I think it was kind of like a way to get attention, honestly. Like the dude's 28 years old. Okay. Like he probably hasn't made enough money to say, "I'm never going to work again." Right. He's meant to play baseball. Like he just wanted to get attention. But I think this could be a way for him to try to get away from the White Sox and get to another team in the coming years. White Sox don't want to mess with him. Hey, at the Red Sox, I'd take him to play first base for us right now. I mean, right now. Call him up right now. Now, Vincent, do you think Mercedes had some bad intentions with this, trying to maybe get to a different franchise in the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure. He's a young guy, hasn't had much experience in the majors yet. I think it was more out of frustration of being sent down. I mean, they obviously has kind of a shaky relationship with La Russa. I mean, it's been weird how La Russa said he was going to reach out, but it didn't feel to me like after the 3-0 home run comments and being sent down, like they have exactly a great relationship. So, I mean, I think it's kind of to be determined, I guess. We'll see what happens in the future with it. We'll see once he makes it back up to the majors, what happens and how La Russa kind of handles the situation.
Yeah. So with Mercedes, he's still on the 40-man roster. I'd say he's like the 27, 28 guy. Like he's there. He's going to be there in the playoffs. Now I want to talk about the White Sox for a minute here. They did split 2-2 with the Twins, aka one of the worst teams in the American League Central this weekend. Now, obviously, I think according to Fangraphs, the White Sox have like a 98% chance to win the division, make the playoffs. We know that's going to happen. But are you scared of the White Sox in October? Or if you're the Red Sox, do you want to get the White Sox early? Because they haven't played anyone this year. Realistically, they have the easiest schedule in baseball. I mean, what do you think, Mitch?
I think you want the White Sox in this situation. I mean, it looks like they're having a little turmoil within the organization. You have some key injuries to the infield. Tim Anderson is having a good year, but he's not having a Tim Anderson-esque year. I mean, the only thing that really scares me about them is their starting pitching, like Rondon, Lynn. I mean, I wouldn't want to go up against those guys in a 3-game wildcard series, but I would easily go up against them in a 7-game series. So, yeah, that's the team I want to see, if anybody.
Yeah, I mean, the White Sox really scare me. And obviously this isn't going to happen to them because they're not going to be a wild card team, but like a 1-game wild card, I would not want to play the White Sox. But I'm not afraid of them when you look at who they played in their schedule this year. I mean, when you're getting 19 times 4 against the American League Central and then your interleague games against the National League Central, I mean, come on, Now, Vincent, do you think the White Sox are a realistic contender to win the American League pennant? Because there's not a lot of good teams in the American League, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree with Mitch here. I mean, They have the second and third favorites as far as odds go in Cy Young voting. I mean, Rodon is just pitched out of his mind this year. Lynn is pitching good. This is a deep rotation, and they haven't played anybody, but I mean, this is a good team. They have a solid offense. I mean, obviously losing Robert Luis Robert, however you pronounce it, it was tough for them. But I think this offense will come around. I mean, they have a reigning MVP. They have Tim Anderson. They have some solid bats out there. So I think this is a team that you don't really want to mess with in the playoffs, especially with such a deep pitching staff.
Yeah, I mean, the pitching is going to carry them. They are going to get some offensive guys back. So that does scare me a little bit. But right now, as it stands, I mean, I would take them I would take the Red Sox in 7 games over them in the American League Championship Series. It's just my thoughts. I am a little biased. I got to throw that out there. So let's talk about the Mets a little bit. Mets free agency talk. This is one of the teams that needs to make a splash at the deadline. Now, Mitch, your Blue Jays are traveling to New York to play the Mets this week. With the Mets free agency, right now, it looks like Chris Bryant's that guy that they need, but they're struggling. I mean, Jacob deGrom's injured. Frankie Lindor is injured. Not that he's done a lot for them this year, but they need a guy there to fill that void, especially if his oblique does not heal quick enough. If you name a few guys, I mean, Mitch, you can do whatever you want here, but name a couple guys that you think are going to be on the Mets, because Steve Cohen has said, I want to make a big splash at the deadline to secure a playoff spot.
The 2 names that ring a bell to me is Trevor Story and Chris Bryant. Bryant because they have a hole at third base, and Trevor Story because it seems like the Mets are willing to pay money, and Trevor Story still has $6 million left on his contract for the season. So I could that could pull some teams away, like the Athletics. So I guess if those 2 guys went to the Mets, that would make them a serious contender. I mean, their lineup's on fire recently too. They scored 40 runs in their last 2 series against Cincy and Pittsburgh. So that would make them a real contender. But other than that, I mean, I guess they would need some bullpen help. A guy like Kimbrel can help any team. But
yeah, definitely. Now, do they need a starting pitcher, do you think? Because, I mean, DeGrom, I love DeGrom. I love him, but it seems like there's been so many injuries this year. Now, when he's healthy, he's unhittable. But is he going to be healthy in 3 months from now?
Yeah. I mean, you got Carlos Carrasco coming off the IL, probably against the Blue Jays. And then you have Noah Syndergaard on the back burner. I mean, I know he hasn't been able to get healthy, but if the thought of him even coming back for a playoff game is possible, he can add a big boost to your rotation. You already got Stroman, Taiwan. I think they can do it internally when it comes to the rotation.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you look at the playoffs. I mean, you're only going to need 3 starters, so 3 or 4 really. So now, Vincent, you look at the Mets. The Mets are in a difficult position in the National League. Obviously, you're competing against the Dodgers. You're competing against, let's just say, the National League West, honestly. So you look at the Mets. If a big splash getting to the postseason is different than being successful in the postseason, I know we're still a few months away, obviously, but it looks like the Mets will probably win the National League East, especially with how bad the Braves have been playing. Phillies, who knows? Do you think the Mets are a realistic threat in the National League to maybe take down a San Francisco or a San Diego? Dodgers, I still think, are going to be pretty good when we get there.
No, I don't think this team really has a chance to make a huge splash in the playoffs. I mean, they're going to have to run through a solid National League this season. There's the Padres, there's the Dodgers, even the Giants, who I don't think are as good as their record is, but their starting pitching has been outstanding. So we'll see what happens. But I think they do need to make a big splash in free agency. I mean, the obvious name is Chris Bryant, but another guy I'd like to see is Joey Gallo, actually. This lineup could turn into a power lineup with Pete Alonso and Gallo. I mean, that would be a pretty cool duo to see, especially with Gallo moving to the outfield. I mean, they could maybe work him in other positions, see what's up with him. I mean, it's awesome to see him in right field this season as opposed to just being at first base and DHing, which he's done most of his career. So I'd be interested to see Gallo in New York.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Gallo in. Now, I wouldn't. Let me rephrase this. I would not like to see Gallo in New York with the Yankees, but I would like to see Gallo in New York with the Yankees, if that makes sense. They need a lefty. They need a left-handed power hitter. I think Joey Gallo is the perfect fit in the Bronx. Mitch, first of all, the Yankees need something. Do you agree with Gallo? And then any other suggestions you have for Brian Cashman to figure out how to win baseball games?
I think Joey Gallo would be a great fit in New York. It's just finding somewhere to play him. You've already got Aaron Judge in right field. You've already got Stanton on DH, but sometimes he plays outfield. I think they need a whole lot. I think they need another back end of the bullpen type pitcher like Kimbrel. I think a Chris Bryant would help them. A Ketel Marte. They need a lot of offensive help, and I think they need some left-handed bats too, because they have such a right-handed heavy lineup. I mean, the left-handers play perfect to the Bronx because they're short porch and right. So I think they should go out and maybe Joey Gallo, a left-handed bat. That'd be a good power bat to add to that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in the lineup's freaking righty, which is like it's so bad, and you're not going to win games like that unless you're hitting balls out of the yard every night, which they're not doing. Now with the Yankees, I'm disappointed in them because I want to see the Yankees be good. It's more fun for me in September when the Yankees are good because it means something. Like, I don't like the Red Sox play the Yankees, I think like September 25th, 26th, 27th. Like that series could be amazing if the Red Sox were up one game. And obviously I want to see the Red Sox win the division. But I got a question for you, Vincent, now. With the Yankees, the trouble that's been going on there, what do they need? Like, what's that one piece that is going to make this team a secure wild card spot? Also, is it in the bullpen? Because if you bring in Kimbrel, like, I mean, that's showing that you don't have any faith in he's so irrelevant now. Give me
Aroldis.
He's so freaking irrelevant. I mean, come on. So what's your thoughts on that, Vincent?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think the bats need to wake up in New York. Glaber, he's starting to come alive. He's hit a few home runs in the last couple games. I mean, it's tough with Gallo. I would like to see him, but I don't really think there's a place to play him. There's too many guys at too many different positions. I think they need a center fielder or maybe a left fielder. I would love to see Ketel Marte come to New York, but I really doubt. I mean, as a baseball fan, I'd love to see Ketel Marte out of Arizona. But as a general manager, I would never get rid of him. It would be great to see him in New York, but I think that would be the piece they need. They need somebody in the outfield with the injuries they've suffered this year, and they need the bats to wake up. And I would go with a starting pitcher too, maybe. The rotation's been lackluster. They have had some success with the reliever starter kind of thing, just go 4 or 5 innings. Nestor Cortez has pitched great in his few starts he's had. Montgomery's not really getting the job done, though, and I don't have much faith in Tyone. So I think maybe even a starting pitcher like Gibson, maybe.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Mitch?
Yeah, no, I actually completely agree with what Vincent said. They need some starting pitching for sure. Like Talion, Montgomery, Jermaine, they're not going to get it done when it comes postseason time. If you want to win, you're going to need a top of the rotation type arm. Yeah,
I am excited to see Herman pitch this weekend because he's been – I say this on my morning show. He's been 6 guys this year. He's been great, good, average, mediocre, bad, and horrendous. Like, you never know what you're going to get with him. He also pulled that, like, I'm going to retire thing back when he was having the whole allegations in the offseason. We don't need to talk about that, but just another, maybe you remember Mercedes took some notes from him. I don't know. All right, so let's go to Giants-Dodgers and LA free agency. First of all, everyone who doesn't think the Dodgers are the best team in baseball I still think you're crazy. Last night, that's a game they should have won. They should have won that game. You got a lead going in the 9th inning. You're the best team in baseball. You got to close that out. But with the Dodgers, they have struggled against the Giants. They're 2 games back in the West. I still think they're going to be the division champs at the end of the season, but they need help. You look at, I mean, Trevor Bauer's gone. He's not going to play this year. Clayton Kershaw, who knows if he's going to get back. You got some problems in the lineup. I mean, not problems in the lineup. You really don't need hitters as long as everyone gets healthy. But pitching-wise, who's a guy that you could see going to LA?
Honestly, I mean, I think they've already got a pretty good rotation as it stands with Buehler and Kershaw. But I could see – that's a tough question. I could see Gibson maybe heading there. I could also see them needing rotation. I mean, back of the bullpen help too. Like I say that with every team. Like, who doesn't need back of the bullpen help? But I mean, they had a blown save last night from Kensley, and the Dodgers, they need some length because their starters have pitched less innings than the bullpen have this year. But yeah, I can't really think of any names off the top of my head that would fit well in the Dodgers uniform. I mean, any top of the rotation starter really.
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing to see Kenley. Like, Kenley getting booed in LA last night was really disappointing to see to me because I'm like, this guy's done a lot, but also there's been times where he just hasn't delivered. It's kind of like he's been caught up in that, like, the few bad closing efforts have overshadowed what he's done for the city. Now, Vincent, what do you think the Dodgers need to be successful in the postseason?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Mitch here. I mean, there's not many names jumping off the page as far as starting pitching goes. People have talked about Max Scherzer, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I think the Nationals actually have a chance to win that division. it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They could go grab Kyle Gibson, but I agree with you. I think they're the best team in baseball. I think they're good where they stand. Obviously, Bauer's a huge loss, and it's unfortunate for the team. But I don't see many names as far as starting pitching goes jumping off the page to me. I mean, Kimbrel, yeah, but I agree with you. Jansen hasn't done much wrong. He's blown a couple saves, yeah, but I think he's a solid closer, and I don't see how those two would really fit in a bullpen together. So,
yeah, I mean, Jansen's like fastball has gone up. It's like 93, 94 now this year, even 95, I think it's touching. Before it was like 91 last year. And so I like Jansen. I'm fine with Jansen. But I want to talk about Max Scherzer. It's funny you bring that up. Max Scherzer he has the power based on how many years he's been in the league. He can stay in Washington. Washington doesn't really want to get rid of him, but he is willing to go if he gets a contract extension with a different team. The Dodgers are a team that will pay for a contract extension. I don't know how much star power you can get in LA, but you really got to think, like, most likely the way the NFL, the MLB, all these big time leagues have handled these sexual assault cases, Trevor Bauer will I don't want to say he will probably never play baseball again, but there's a chance he will never play baseball again, the way they've handled all this. Now, do you think they maybe work a deal out with Scherzer, try to get him there for a couple of years in the future? Mitch?
I mean, the thing with Scherzer is that, like, Washington still has a chance. Like, I think their GM came out a couple of days ago and said they're going to wait this whole week out. They're going to see what their team can do in the next coming series and see if they can pull something together, because that's a guy you want in your rotation come playoff time for sure. He's started the All-Star game. He has a 2.68 ERA this season. But if he did go to the Dodgers, that would make them the ultimate, like, favorite. They're like, imagine that, Kershaw, Scherzer, and then you got Buehler. Like, and then maybe even Gibson. That lineup, that rotation would be just as good as their batting lineup. So,
yeah, I mean, realistically, I see Gibson going there more, obviously, just because I think the Rangers will be able to part ways with him because he's pitching like an ace this year, but he's really a 2-3 guy. Now, Vincent, you think Max Scherzer? If first of all, if Max Scherzer in LA, are they the heavy favorites?
Oh yeah, obviously. I mean,
Kershaw, how about that? I got a different question for you. Kershaw's done for the year. Say Kershaw's done for the year because he's got inflammation in his arm, right? Inflammation usually means a tear, and this is like it. Just who is it? Just for the Tigers, Turnbull, right? Okay, he had inflammation in his arm. They wait for a month, and now he needs Tommy John surgery. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's a possibility with Kershaw. If Kershaw's not there, you place him with Max Scherzer. Are they the favorites to win?
Yeah, we didn't even mention Julio Urias, who's been pitching out of his mind lately as well. I mean,
he was good last night.
That's a great rotation right there. I think if you insert Scherzer into that rotation, it's just tick for tack. I mean, you're obviously losing Kershaw, but I think if you slide Scherzer in that spot, you don't see a big difference. But I do think that they do have a chance to win that division. It's the worst division in baseball, in my opinion. And I really think they have a chance to come back and make a run at that division. And it's interesting to see because they're kind of in that middle ground where they don't know, should they go get somebody or should they be sellers at the deadline? So that's a tough spot for their GM to be in. And I like the whole situation, riding out the week and seeing what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them do either or, but I don't think Scherzer's going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scared. I don't think the Nationals have a chance to win the National League East, and they're not going to win and get in a wild card because those three teams are coming from the West. You look at the National League East, the Mets are in first, Phillies are 3.5 back, Braves are 4.5 back, Nationals are 6 games back. You know, if we're saying the Nationals can win the National League East, we should be saying the Yankees can win the American League East. I just don't see it happening. But you never know. I think it is definitely a good idea to wait it out for a week and then see. But ultimately, I think they'll be sellers. And realistically, I don't know if Max Scherzer even wants to leave Washington. Why would you? You've done it all. So, free agency talk. Final thoughts, guys. Any other names you think are going somewhere? Any other teams that need to make a splash? Mitch?
Just backtracking to the Dodgers talk. I want to quickly give my guy David Price an honorable shout out here.
Yeah, I forget about him.
Yeah, like, you never know. Like if he picks it up and starts playing the way he did, I mean, that'd be a nice addition to the rotation too. But yeah, for free agency talk, I mean, Nelson Cruz looks like somebody who could be on the go. You got Trevor Story, who's a free agent after this year. Those would be some nice signings to any team. I mean, imagine adding Nelson Cruz to Boston's lineup or to the Tampa Bay lineup. That would just make them instant contenders.
Yeah, definitely. Vincent, what do you think?
I'm interested to see what happens with both Marte, Starling, and Ketel. There's been talks about Starling and Ketel actually both coming to New York. I'd love to see that. But obviously, as you said, we need a left-handed bat. Starling is not a left-handed bat. But obviously, the Jeter-New York relationship, that could always be a possibility. I mean, like I said before, as a baseball fan, I'd love to see Ketel jump onto a playoff contending roster. But as a GM, I would never do it. But I'm interested to see what happens with him.
Yeah, definitely. So final question here. Teams that need help. I want you to rank your top, let's say, 5 teams that need a guy at the deadline. You can take a minute here to think. I already got mine in my head. All right, so let me go first. I think these might not be in order either. That's a little difficult. But Mets, Dodgers, Yankees. Mets, Dodgers, Yankees. Nats. I mean, Phillies, Nats. We didn't really talk about them. And see, the West is fine. Central's good. I mean, maybe the Red Sox. I don't even think the Red Sox need anything, but those would be my 5. That was kind of jumbled together. Should have thought that out better. But Mitch, what do you think, man?
A's.
Yeah, I forgot about the A's. Yep.
They're at 50+ wins. I mean, they can make.
They can be a wild card team, yeah.
So yeah, A's, Rays. I mean, I'm rhyming all the A's here, but Jays, just because I think we need some bullpen help and some pitching help. And then National League, Dodgers, Giants could even use some help. Washington, those are all teams that could be in the mix for some help too.
Yep, definitely. Vincent.
So my top team is the Reds. We didn't really talk about them much, but they have the worst
man. Come on.
They have the worst bullpen in the entire major league besides the Diamondbacks, and they're still somewhat in contention. I'd say the Yankees, the Mets, and probably I agree with Mitch on the A's. The A's definitely need somebody. They haven't been hitting well. They're another team that I think could go after Story. I think Andrus is playing shortstop for them right now, and I don't think he's doing much this season. So if Story lands there, they could be a problem come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Reds. I'm gonna dispute you on the Reds. Nick Castellanos is now out for like a month with a fracture or something. I heard that today. So that scares me. But the A's, I think, great choice out of both you guys. I should have said them. We didn't even talk about them. You know, everyone forgets about the A's. You got to spend money on players for us to talk about you. But anyways, guys, that was our show for the evening. Make sure to subscribe to the Sports 2.0 Network. Mitch, thanks for joining us all the way from Canada, man. I love talking to you about baseball. Good luck to the Blue Jays this weekend.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I hope we can make something happen. I want my hope restored.
I'm going to that game on Saturday night in New York, so very excited about that. Hopefully, I get to see Vladdy hit a bomb. That's why I'm going to see Vladdy. I'm not going to see the Mets without Jacob deGrom. But anyways, Vincent, what are your thoughts on this Yankees series? You think they can pull out one win?
I'm hoping. I think tonight's the big game. I think if they get the series off to a good start, I think going into tomorrow that it's going to be looking up for them.
Oh yeah, totally agree. If they can win tonight, and then you got Garrett Cole on the mound tomorrow, you're in good shape. But I go Red Sox, Tanner Hawk, baby. Let's go. So that does it, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Sports 2.0 Network. If you're in Michigan, best team in baseball, Detroit Tigers right now. PointsBet Sportsbook. Use code NOOPMT, $300 deposit match, and an entry into the VIP Summer Sweepstakes. That was the Sports 2.0 show. MLB talk every Thursday night at 6 p.m., guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.